Hey guys, so today I'm going to try something a little bit different. I played my first few minutes of Dragonborn earlier. I just finished actually, and instead of just uploading the clip with the sound from the game only, I decided I will try doing a commentary, but I'm not going to try to fill the entire thing. I'm just going to chime in and add when I want to say something. I'll add it in, but I'm not gonna worry about trying to fill the entire thing. This here, I learned you have to go to the docks in Windhelm, I believe, and talk to this guy to get to the Morrowind area. But there is another thing that happened when I downloaded Dragonborn, where I basically met the group of cultists, and that started a mission where it said find who sent the cultists, and the marker for that brought me somewhere else, and the marker was underneath a house, and I couldn't figure out a way to actually get to it. So I'm not sure specifically what the issue is there. I'll have to look it up, but I haven't done the find who sent the cultists mission yet. So I just started this. I just skipped that and started this. This little journey that comes up here where you're on the boat and you can see the shot with the front of the boat. There's actually two versions of this. One with this nice sort of daylight orange sky, and then there's one with a sort of a darker, sort of a more brown, dark sky. It's night, because here my blood was boiling, and the one other time I tried it and I got the darker brown sky, my blood wasn't boiling, so I guess it was counted as evening. So there's Raven Rock. And then this guy gives you some attitude when you're coming off the boat. And then you can give him some attitude back, but he'll give you a warning.
That's the kind of attitude that's going to land you in prison. I'll let it go for now. Just remember, Raven Rock is sovereign territory of House Redder. This is Morrowind, not Skyrim. While you're here, you will be expected to abide by our laws. Any questions? Raven Rock started out as an imperial settlement. The Empire decided to abandon it, just as my people first settled here. They left the town in shambles. House Veteran took over. We turned it around.
Needs about his mine and how the mine died out a few years ago.
Second Counselor, security of Raven Rock is my primary concern. This isn't exactly the city of Blacklight. We're on the frontier down here. We've had more than a fair share of troubles. After all we've been through together, I refuse to let Councillor Morbay down. Councillor Morbay, House Veterans representative on Solstheim.
That might actually be the guy later that tells you about the mine.
Your ignorance of our homeland doesn't surprise me. It's the capital of Morrowind. Been that way ever since
He's
Morrowind.
giving you sass again.
I don't visit there often anymore, but we still get the occasional supply trip and visitors. Quite a while ago, yes. They cut a bloody swath across most of the southern region of Morrowind. Nobody seems certain why it happened.
I actually didn't go in the mine. I went up to it, but for the sake of time, I explored all around the rest of the sort of little main area around here. But I didn't. I was wondering at the time whether I should have went in the mine just to have a quick look, but I ended up not going in there. But I will definitely go in the mine later on. So this tomb is locked at first.
You can go.
Here you meet a guy. Yes, I believe this is where you meet the guy. He's got a new drink, and he wants you to give out samples. But the people here are kind of they've got a lot of attitude, so most of them won't actually take the drink. They basically tell you to shove it.
In fact, I've just added some new ingredients to the mixture that I think makes the place better than ever. All I need to do is get the water out when it's ready and flock here for it. I was on over it to say that.
I always, whenever I meet people who want you to spread, give out samples or collect things for them or whatever, I always do it just for something extra to do. Yeah, not that it's really exciting or anything, but I just like to have extra stuff to do and talk to people as much as possible.
I work for most of them. You've got a problem. I'll give you this warning only one. Take that swill and pour it down well. Until next time. Children, Sarah.
That guy's a blade for hire, so you can hire him to be your assistant, I guess.
The others will allow me to drink while I'm working at the bench.
He's got an excuse. And when your blood boils here, you get kind of an orangey red and yellow glow, which is kind of neat looking. That's different than in Skyrim. So here's the mine here. It's got a nice entrance with a big wall, and it's pretty nice looking. I was tempted to go in, but as you can see, I backed off and I looked at it for a second, but I didn't go in. Just because I'm trying to keep each of these segments short. It's pretty easy to actually go and record a really long video, but I'm trying to keep these segments a little shorter. Out there where the green glow is another place I actually didn't get to go to. She's a little bit flirty, I think. Here you meet he's thinking too much, so he can't do it. I think this is just empty down here. There's a alchemy and an enchanter and a room with a bed, I think it is. Yeah. These rooms are pretty nice. They're different than Skyrim a bit. I never actually played Morrowind, so Morrowind is not familiar to me. This green glow, which I like, it's kind of nice over there. I'm gonna check that out later as well. This is an empty room too. I accidentally went into the first place again on my way. Also, as I was coming out of here, that girl I gave the drink to and another guy were starting to sort of whisper between each other, and it sounded like they were talking about something interesting. but I didn't. I accidentally walked out the door too quickly, and then so I went back to see if they were still talking about it, which would have been unlikely, of course. But of course they weren't. But I wish I had sort of just stopped and listened in on their conversation, because it sounded like they were talking about something a bit interesting. And this is the girl who hates it, and she wants to leave, but she couldn't do that to her dad. She's glad that she can at least drink. So I accidentally went back into the retching net.
Tell me, the best swordsman in all Morrow is at your service.
And this is that, I forget what the actual term for it, but the ruler. The guy who's one of the 5 ruling.
Solstheim is theoretically underground, but without revenue from the mine, I lack the resources to actually govern anything but Raven Rock itself.
He's got a chair that's fashioned out of tree trunks and branches, which is nice.
They pretty much keep to
And
themselves.
rope. I would actually like a chair like that in real life.
But since we're both from Morrowind, we get it. Other than that, Solstheim is cruel and bad to some weakness. But that's to be expected living in a frontier like this.
So House Redoran.
We're the mightiest of the great houses, and we
It's one of the great houses. So that's what they call it.
This isn't Skyrim. A group of powerful and influential.
He's giving you some attitude as well.
They embody a council made up of 5 great houses: Tilvan, Prince, Doro, Sadras, and Ren. Well, of course, with 4 other houses on the council, someone has to keep the rabble organized. Our house is the council by virtue of our preeminence in battle, wisdom, and ancestral glory. Yes, I imagine it would to someone not of our people. If you're interested in pursuing the subject, help yourself to any of the historical volumes. It used to be one of the richest ebony mines in Morrowind, but it dried out. Now, they're burning out. Without the mine, Ravenloft doesn't feel.
Yes, he's the one who's telling you about the mine. The guy earlier doesn't talk about the mine, I don't think.
Your visit here. What? Oh, no, thank you. I need to keep my head in.
These guards don't say anything like all the other guards, but they do have a neat costume. They look like something from Star Wars. I was thinking that I could get over in this direction by going in front of the wall. So that's why I went out first towards the dock where the boat was, but it turned out you had to go through that spot where the guard is standing. So I had to sort of go backtrack. I like this as well. The water when you're swimming in it is just like black. And you can't really see anything at all except for a tiny bit up through the water. this here, there's the only thing here was some of these ash hoppers. I thought there might have been a little bit of something more out here to discover. Those bone mold things, I haven't seen those before. I guess those are also a Morrowind thing. Here's some ash spawns beating up on this guy, and so you've got to save him. And so I think one of them is burning. That looks kind of cool. Or is that the guy? Oh no, that's the guy you're saving is the guy who's burning. So that's, I guess, is that a power that he has, or I don't know. But it looks cool.
I wasn't sure I'd make it up this farm alive.
So he sends you on a quest to determine the original location of these ash bonds and find out where they're coming from.
All I know is they're a danger to Raven Rock and they need to be stopped. I was going to search for clues.
And I sort of just ignored this
I know it isn't the best.
quest once I'm done talking to him and headed over to the temple to talk to the elder.
Good.
And he sends you on a quest to some ash spawns in the
Raven Rock behind.
lower chamber of the temple.
We were searching the farm when the ash spawn ambushed us. Have a look around and see if you can turn up anything useful. No one knows really. Superstitious folk say they're the risen forms of those that died long ago. Time not so certain. They started attacking the bulwark a few weeks ago. Our men were able to kill them, but they keep coming back. We've had 2 other assaults on the bulwark, at different spots on the wall. I know it sounds crazy, but it's almost like they're becoming more organized and probing it for weaknesses. Exactly. Something has to be directing them against us, and we need to find out who or what it is. I don't. All I know is that the ash spawn are coming from this direction, so this is as good a place to start as anywhere else. Good thing the farm's been abandoned for a long time. I came to see what they put an unarmed farmer was that way. Sure, I was told it was an old imperial farm that was wiped out by the eruption of the Red Mountain. I'm certain who lived there. It was already a pile of rubble when I arrived in Raven Rock. Report back to me if you discover anything unusual.
There's some nice scenery along this road here, which is pretty common for Skyrim. Skyrim has a lot of nice scenery as well. This is a little bit different. I like how this little trail goes down under this gate here. That's kind of neat. Now these guys, I noticed they were running off to some sort of emergency. So I decided to follow them and see what they're up to. And then I found some more ash spawns attacking. And I'm wearing that horrible, stupid headband just because it's plus 70 Magicka or something. And or Magica, and it's horrible and ugly. Usually I like to wear a nice mask or something, but I just threw that on because of the spell that it was enchanted with. And the robes as well, I'm just wearing those because they have, I think it's 100 or 150 Magica regeneration.
Sadly, we've been unable to use the ancestral tool.
I like my dragon bone stuff,
Resorted to
but
other
I don't have that enchanted at the moment, so it's pretty plain. And my magicka is pretty slow if I'm wearing the dragon bone stuff. Or dragon scale. There's two of them, one bone and one dragon scale. I have both of them, but I was wearing the light stuff because my light armor is, I think it's 89 or 90, and my heavy armor is already at 100, so I've been wearing light armor for a while just to get the light armor rating up. Once whatever particular skill gets to 100, I like to sort of shift over to something else and start working on that, just so that I'm not using something that's already at 100 once when there's a lot of other stuff that's not at 100 yet. So he tells you that they can't use the lower chambers anymore because of the ash spawns that are inhabiting it. And I can say, well, good luck with that. Or I can say, yeah, I'll do that for you.
They were aberrations, false prophets. They used their status as heroes to shield. But now that they've been destroyed, light can finally shine upon the house of the
And then this other guy tells you about how he's going to be taking over. And he's pretty rude as well. But they do have nice hoods. On the left and right there's some rooms, and sometimes those guys are sleeping in their rooms if you leave them long enough. So here you basically have to kill a handful of the ash spawns. At one point I actually brought my bound bow out, which is something I do a lot just to get concentration up. And I thought I might, shoot some guys with the bow, but it didn't turn out very well because I immediately started getting hit. So I abandoned that plan pretty quickly and just went back with a sword, which is pretty good for these guys. So sometimes when you're done doing that, they might be sleeping in there and you'll have to get them there. This time he was still here where he was last time.
Spirits speak for you. I'm hoping you didn't suffer much at the hands of those foul beings.
Please, accept this as a token of my
So I decided it was long enough here and I ended it just as I go to the door here.